Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're gearing up for your HSC board exams, listen up, because this is one topic you absolutely cannot afford to skip: the physiological effects of ethylene. And why is that? Well, because mastering what we're about to cover is your golden ticket to some easy, guaranteed marks. Let's dive in.
And now I am not kidding. Just look at this. Every single year, without fail, you can bet there's going to be a question worth 2 to 3 marks pulled directly from this topic. This isn't a maybe, folks. It's a definitely. So let's make sure every single one of those marks ends up on your score sheet.
You know, in an exam where literally every single mark can make a difference, a topic that reliably serves up 2 or 3 marks is pure gold. Getting this right can be the little push that boosts your entire final score. So pay close attention, because these marks are basically sitting there waiting for you to grab them.
Okay, so before we dive deep into the actual science, let's have a quick huddle, a little strategy session. Why are we zeroing in on this one topic so hard? Because, the smartest students don't just study hard, they study smart. And ethylene, it's one of the smartest places you can invest your study time. So, the game plan here is super simple. First, this topic is a frequent flyer on exams. It shows up all the time. Second, the concepts are actually pretty straightforward, which makes it an easy place to score. And third, when you nail this, it's a huge confidence boost and a nice little bump to your overall grade. It's the perfect storm, High reward, low difficulty. All right. Strategy session is over. Time to open up the playbook. We're going to break down the 3 main physiological effects of ethylene, the ones that examiners just love to throw at you. If you can get these 3 down, you are golden. All right, first on our list, fruit ripening. We all know what it looks and tastes like, right? But for the exam, you want to say it's the process where fruits get that delicious flavor, vibrant color, and soft texture. And the hormone pulling all the strings behind the scenes? Yep, you guessed it. It's ethylene. So how does it actually work? Well, ethylene basically kicks off this huge chain reaction. It cranks up the fruit's breathing rate. That's called the respiratory climacteric, a key term to remember. It also gets busy converting all those bland starches into simple sugars, which is exactly why a ripe peach is so sweet. Think of it like the master switch that gets the whole ripening party started. And honestly, this visual just says it all, doesn't it? Just picture a hard, green, kind of bland banana. That's a fruit packed with starch and not a lot of ethylene. But as the plant starts pumping out more ethylene, that banana turns that perfect sunny yellow, gets soft, and becomes super sweet. It's the best real-world example you could ask for. Okay, moving on to our second key effect, which is senescence. Now, it sounds a little complicated, but it's really just the fancy scientific name for the aging process in plants. In fact, ethylene is often called the aging hormone because its job is to speed up this process in leaves, flowers, and even fruit. So what exactly is ethylene doing to speed up this aging process? It triggers a couple of key things. It tells the plant to start breaking down chlorophyll. That's why leaves go from green to yellow. It also signals for proteins and other key stuff inside the cells to break down. It's basically the director orchestrating this whole systematic shutdown of that part of the plant. And this right here is the mental image you need to lock in. A beautiful, vibrant green leaf, totally full of life, slowly turning yellow, then brown as it gets older. That whole journey from green to brown, ethylene is hitting the fast-forward button on that process. It's the plant's life cycle in fast motion. And that brings us to our third and final heavy hitter, abscission. This is just the natural process of shedding. You know when you see trees dropping their leaves in the fall, or a plant dropping its flowers after they bloom, or even a ripe apple falling to the ground? That's all abscission. And guess who's sending out the memo to make it happen? Ethylene, of course. So what's the science behind this? How does it actually work? Ethylene sends a signal that tells a special layer of cells to form right at the base of a leaf or a fruit. This is called the abscission layer. The enzymes in this layer start to dissolve the cell walls, making that connection point super weak until, snap, it just falls right off. And this image, wow, it just captures that final moment perfectly. A perfectly ripe apple falling from a tree. Now, that's not just gravity doing its thing. Ethylene started the process of ripening, triggered senescence, and then signaled for that abscission layer to form. The connection got weak, and boom, the fruit dropped. See how it's all connected? Ripening, senescence, abscission, all driven by ethylene. Okay, you have officially learned the playbook. Now it's game day. Let's run a simulation. How do you take all this knowledge and use it to crush an exam question and walk away with full marks? This is where all that theory we just built gets put into action. So here's your 4-step game plan for crafting that perfect answer. Step 1. Actually read the question carefully and understand what it's asking. Step 2. Take a second to recall those 3 key effects: ripening, senescence, abscission, and their keywords. 3. Structure your answer with super clear headings. And finally, step 4. Write it all down neatly. So what does that look like in the real world, on an actual exam paper? Well, take a look at this. Notice how there are clear, separate headings for each effect: fruit ripening, senescence, and abscission. Key terms are defined and then explained nice and simply. This, my friends, is exactly what an examiner dreams of seeing. It's clean, it's to the point, and it shows you know what you're talking about. Okay, game's over. Let's huddle up for a quick post-game analysis. Because even the best students can lose easy marks by making simple little mistakes. I'm going to walk you through the classic mistakes that trip people up so you can just sidestep them completely.
So listen up. These are the top 3 pitfalls to avoid. First, writing a bunch of stuff that's irrelevant. Stick to the physiological effects the question asks for. Second, mixing up senescence, which is aging, with abscission, which is shedding. They're connected for sure, but they are not the same thing. And third, using really vague definitions. Be specific, be precise.
Okay, so we know what not to do. Now let's talk about how to level up from just a good answer to a wow, full marks answer. These are the little pro tips that are going to make your exam paper really stand out. Trust me on this, presentation is everything. Always, always use separate headings for each of your points. It just makes it so much easier for the examiner to read and grade. Go ahead and underline your keywords like respiratory climacteric or abscission layer. Remember, a clean, well-organized answer just screams, "I know my stuff," to the person grading it. All right, it's time for the final huddle. Let's boil everything we've just covered down into a super fast recap. So if your brain is full and you can only remember a few things, make it these.
Okay, here they are, your 3 golden rules for ethylene. Rule number 1, remember the big idea. Ethylene is a plant hormone that's all about promoting ripening, aging, which is senescence, and shedding, which is abscission. Rule number 2, the biggest mistake to avoid is getting senescence and abscission mixed up. And rule number 3, the best presentation tip is to use clear, separate headings for every point. Simple as that.
And there you have it. You are now officially ready to score full marks on any question about ethylene that comes your way. Seriously, you've totally got this. So now that you're an expert on this, what do you say? Are you ready to tackle auxins next? Awesome job today, and keep up that momentum.